Everybody, welcome back. You're joining us on day 3 of our 4-day break at Trentfield Farm. So we're off for a little walk, going to take you along. There's a few interesting things along the way, so stick with us and let's see where we're going.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be.
So this is interesting. We'll look at these and I'll show you why it's interesting in a second. Hopefully you can see this. It's showing you some pictures of
balcony
floods. So we are at Church Laneham, which is a little, what is it like? It's not even a village, is it? It's like almost like a little settlement near Laneham, which once again is not very big itself, just on the banks of the River Trent, which is here, that runs all the way up from, I think, the Humber all the way down to Nottingham. I think it then becomes Trent and something canal. Hang on, I'm just trying to fight off a wasp at the moment. So that's the River Trent, and here's some pictures showing a house that got flooded. Now the relevance is, stay where we are. Here's Kaz. Here's the balcony of the house that got flooded.
I would have been drowned.
So looking at that for scale, once again let's just go back. And that one,
that's a balcony, there, and I would have been under here.
Shows that same balcony and the water level. So all this would have been underwater. Now when you look at where the water level is at the moment, which is way down there, I'd say I'm probably 10-12 feet above water level. So it's come up 12 feet plus another 8 feet. That's quite a long way. And when you look at everything being flat, it must have just completely swamped this area. So for anybody that isn't familiar with the River Trent's tidal river. As I said earlier, it's fed by the Humber estuary, and at the moment the tide must be in because we've been past this river a couple of times and the water level's been a lot lower than this. When the tide does come in, it gets used for things like this. So you see everybody coming out on the boats, water skiing, other water sports. Obviously just using the river. When it drops down in level, I think it's quite sandbanky, and it has been known to snag up a couple of boats on the sandbanks. This is an interesting building because this is a public toilet in Church Laneham, which must have got a population of, I don't know, maybe about 100. I'm not sure what the population is, but it's not very many. But they've got a public toilet which is bigger than anything that we've got in cities where we live. Everything's getting closed down, but this is an open public toilet.
You never have public toilets,
no?
Ever.
Crazy.
You don't even
Crazy.
Move on.
I think it's not well known for these public toilets, but I think it is a landmark sort of thing that they've got these public toilets. I can remember reading it somewhere, but there they are. I'm not going to them, but there they are. Okay, we're now in the centre of Church Laneham, and this is St Peter's Church. Some interesting things about this church. This dates back about 900 years, and it was built over the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th century, and I think this tower part was the first part that was built, probably about 900 years ago, something like that, and then these other bits, where's my finger? These other bits were added on. So yeah, it's got certainly a lot of history. And this is looking at it from the other side. So once again, that tower's the oldest part. I think that porch area, I do seem to remember reading something about that porch area was refurbished, I think towards the end of the 19th century, 1890 something like that. So that's not the original porch, but it does contain some original features within the porch. But the rest of it, as I said earlier, it does date back over 900 years. Laneham and Church Laneham, which is where we are now. Laneham's a village which is just back up that way, only probably a couple hundred yards. And Laneham was actually named by the Romans, L-A-N-U-M. I think they originally named it. It's now Lane, as in L-A-N-E-H-A-M. It was originally named by the Romans, and Laneham actually appears in the Domesday Book, which I believe residents of Laneham are quite proud of and want to protect that history. Just further back down here, and we'll go back down this way shortly, there's a pub down here called the Ferry Boat. River Trent, do you know, Kaz? What do you know about the River Trent? Can you tell me anything interesting about it?
No.
other than it's wet?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's done by tide. Tide comes in, tide goes out.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
I'm very knowledgeable also.
You certainly are. You certainly are. But the River Trent was a main thoroughfare for people back in the day where roads were probably not as accessible. And I think it was the Archbishop of York who actually used to trot on a boat and skip down the River Trent to a second home or something that he had down the river, and he'd often stop on the way here. And Laneham, believe it or not, actually hosted, whether you know this or not, Kaz, actually hosted a couple of kings.
Yeah.
I think King Henry the Third and Edward the First, I think, stopped here. Used to be a big manor house somewhere. I don't know where that is. We might go and find it. And they used to stop off on the way when they were going wherever. York races, maybe.
York races.
Could have been. In them days, it'd have been
Did
racing.
it exist then?
Yeah, chariot racing and all that sort. Did it exist?
Well, I don't know.
Go with it. Go with the flow, Kaz. Go with the flow. But yeah, Laneham's got steeped in history, and it's a lovely little village and a nice place to come.
Bye campsite. Bye guys. See you later. Bye. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up or subscribe to us. Thanks. Bye.